Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Browns lately, you know that this team has been through a lot of ups and downs, especially in this early part of the season. But what caught everyone's attention this past weekend was that gritty, hard-fought victory over the Green Bay Packers. A game that, honestly, surprised many analysts and fans alike. Cleveland managed to pull out a 13-10 win, which on paper might seem like a close game, but behind the scenes, there's a lot to unpack here. A lot of storylines that could really shape the Browns' trajectory moving forward. First, let's talk about the game itself. The Browns, despite struggling offensively, managed to find a way to win, and that's something that we haven't seen consistently in recent years. The offensive side of the ball, led by veteran quarterback Joe Flacco, was far from perfect. Flacco, stepping in as the starting quarterback after Deshaun Watson's injury, has faced criticism for his performance, going 21 for 36 for 142 yards and throwing an interception. It's not eye-popping numbers, and honestly, they're not what Browns fans expect from a quarterback with his experience. But what's interesting is how the coaching staff, especially Kevin Stefanski, has handled the situation. Despite Flacco's struggles, Stefanski has shown faith in him, especially after that win, emphasizing that he's sticking with the veteran for now. But here's where things get really interesting. There's a lot of chatter among insiders and fans about Dillon Gabriel, the rookie quarterback who's been waiting in the wings, eager for his shot. In fact, some fans and analysts have called for Gabriel to get his opportunity sooner rather than later, especially given the offensive struggles. However, Browns insider Ken Carman recently weighed in on this topic during a radio interview, and his perspective is quite telling. Carman said, "Don't put in Dillon Gabriel yet. After a win, would I pull a move that a team that's losing do and do that? No, I have to take care of my veterans." That might sound like a cautious approach, but it's also a smart one. In NFL circles, you know that trusting your veteran quarterback, especially after a win, is often the safer move. It's about maintaining stability, continuity, and confidence, especially when the team finally gets that first victory of the season. Carman's point is that, despite the calls for a change, now isn't the time to bench Flacco. The Browns need to give him another start, and that's exactly what Stefanski is doing. The head coach has been clear that Flacco remains the starter moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future. And honestly, that decision makes sense when you consider the context. The offensive line was shorthanded, missing Dawand Jones and Jack Conklin, both key tackles who are vital for protecting the quarterback and establishing the run. That's a significant blow against a tough defense like Green Bay's, which boasts some outstanding edge rushers. Stefanski pointed out that the absence of Conklin, in particular, made life difficult for Flacco, and you could see that in the game. The Packers' defensive front was relentless, and even the best quarterbacks would have felt the pressure. Despite these hurdles, the Browns' defense stepped up in a big way. They held Green Bay to just 10 points, which is no small feat given the offensive struggles. Cleveland's defense has been one of the standout units early this season, and that was on full display against the Packers. The resilience of that unit, combined with the effort of players like Myles Garrett and others, created a platform for the offense to grind out that narrow victory. It's a reminder that football is a team sport, and sometimes, even when the offense isn't firing on all cylinders, the defense can carry the day. That's exactly what happened here, and it's a promising sign for Browns fans who are eager to see this team contend consistently. Now, let's talk about Joe Flacco's performance a bit more deeply because, despite the criticism, he's shown a lot of resilience. Flacco has been in the league for a long time, and his experience is invaluable in these tight situations. Sure, he's thrown 4 interceptions in just 3 games, which isn't ideal, but he's also managed to keep the Browns close and give them a chance to win in tough circumstances. Flacco admitted after the game that he's grateful for the trust Stefanski and the coaching staff have placed in him to work through these struggles. He acknowledged that it's been a hard start to the season, but he's committed to doing his part, no matter how tough it gets. That kind of mentality, that grit and determination, is exactly what this team needs right now. Flacco's words after the game really resonated. He said, "It's hard. It's hard to go out there and play games like today and keep it together, but that's what football is sometimes. We've talked about it, capitalizing on turnovers, not making mistakes ourselves." That's a veteran's mindset. It's about understanding that sometimes, it's not about putting up flashy numbers but about doing enough to win. Flacco also mentioned that there were times when receivers were open downfield, but he just couldn't make the connection. That's a reality for many quarterbacks facing pressure and tough defenses, and it shows that he's still trying to find his rhythm, his comfort zone, in that pocket. He's also been honest about the offensive line's injuries impacting his performance. Without Dillon Jones and Jack Conklin, the protection has been compromised. That's a significant challenge for any quarterback, especially one like Flacco, who's not as mobile as some younger guys. But he's handling it with professionalism, knowing that as long as he keeps battling, there's still a chance for this team to turn things around. Looking ahead, the Browns are in a tricky spot. They've managed to get that first win, but they need consistency if they want to stay in the playoff hunt. The offense, especially with Flacco at the helm, has room for improvement. The coaching staff has expressed confidence that Flacco can lead them through this rough patch, but it's also clear that the team is keeping an eye on Dillon Gabriel's development. Gabriel, after all, is the future of this franchise, and if he continues to develop, it's only a matter of time before he gets his shot to start. The question is when that will happen. Will it be after a few more losses? Or will the Browns wait until they see more progress from Gabriel in practice and in game situations? What's really fascinating is how this situation mirrors some classic NFL stories: veteran leadership versus rookie potential, stability versus development. The Browns are walking this fine line right now, trying to stay competitive while also planning for the future. Stefanski's approach appears to be cautious but confident. He's trusting Flacco for now, especially after that win, but he's also aware that Gabriel's time might be coming soon. That's a balancing act that many coaches have to manage, and Stefanski seems to be handling it with a lot of thought. Meanwhile, the fans are divided. Some want to see Gabriel thrown into the fire immediately, believing he has the talent to elevate the offense. Others understand the importance of patience, especially given the injuries and the tough schedule ahead. It's a classic debate. Do you stick with the veteran who's proven he can handle pressure, or do you give the rookie a chance to grow and prove himself? In Cleveland, that debate is ongoing, but what's clear is that the team is still in the early stages of figuring out what works best moving forward. And then there's the bigger picture, the AFC North itself. The division has always been fiercely competitive, and with the Browns finally getting that first win, they're starting to gain some momentum. The Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals are all lurking, waiting for their turn to make a move. But Cleveland's resilience in that game against Green Bay, especially playing with injuries and adversity, shows that this team isn't backing down. They're fighting every step of the way, and that's exactly the kind of attitude that can propel a team deep into the postseason. Looking at the season as a whole, the Browns have a lot to prove. They've got the talent, especially on defense, but consistency on offense remains a question mark. The quarterback situation is a big part of that puzzle. Flacco, with his veteran presence, provides stability, but the team is also developing a future star in Gabriel. It's a delicate balance, and the coaching staff has to navigate it carefully. The next few weeks will be crucial, especially as they face tougher opponents and try to build on that first win. Every game counts now, and the Browns know that they need to start stacking wins if they want to stay relevant in the AFC playoff race. But what's really exciting for fans is that this team appears to have a lot of fight. Even with injuries and offensive struggles, they managed to pull out a victory. That resilience, that never-give-up attitude, is what truly defines a team that wants to contend. And behind the scenes, the coaching staff is probably already analyzing every play, every snap, looking for ways to improve. They know they're not perfect, but they're inching closer each week. The development of players like Gabriel is key, and if he can get closer to being ready, we might see a pivotal change in the team's dynamics sooner rather than later. So, Browns fans, as we wrap up, it's important to remember that this season is still very much in its early stages. The victory over Green Bay was a step in the right direction, but there's still plenty of work to do. The quarterback situation remains a hot topic, with Flacco holding the reins for now, but the future is bright with Gabriel's potential. The defense continues to be a strength, and the team's fighting spirit is undeniable. The AFC North is tough, but if Cleveland keeps this level of grit and determination, they can surprise a lot of people. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Keep the passion alive, and let's see this team rise even higher.